There are themes within Takmalah that listeners may find triggering, including intrusive thoughts, violence, domestic abuse, and suicidal ideation. If any of the topics in this episode speak to you, you're not alone. We have partnered with SAD, who host an online support group every Thursday, aptly named Shits and Giggles. Wherever you are on your journey, SAD offers a chance to connect, to be heard and supported by this incredible group of survivors. We've put the link in the show notes, so please get in touch. If you want to become an ally, follow us, rate, review, share, and we can grow this community and help anyone trying to escape an abusive relationship. With each episode, we gain in strength, numbers, and confidence, and are proud to share an initiative we've been working on. We want to implement a domestic violence disclosure scheme in Portugal to prevent any more deaths at the hands of domestic abusers. And with your virtual signature, we are one step closer, as there really is safety in numbers. So please add your name at the link below. Head over to www.change.org/domestic violence disclosure scheme PT. Thank you for listening. Dear Paige, I've placed a copy of this letter in my handwriting in an envelope on the main drawer of my desk. And I've decided I'm going to update it each week. It's kind of like a way I can track my progress with SAD. To whom it may concern, if you found this, I am dead, and if you knew me, I am sorry. I thought I'd managed it. I thought I'd covered all the bases, organised everything, made sure everyone else would have as little inconvenience as possible, which frankly is such a me thing to do. Even in my own imagined disappearance, I'm still project managing. There are emails to send, evidence to collect, and things that need to happen. The great irony is I did not want to die. I wanted the pain to stop, and I wanted someone to say, we believe you, you're safe now, we've got it from here. There are photographs in my drafts, the finger marks from around my neck, the bruises on my body, face, the jaw injury, the medical reports, witness statements from the hotel manager in Madeira who helped me escape after guests called because they suspected I was being abused. Statements from the women in the village who ran towards me when I needed them. There are requests for police records from when passers-by called the police, doctor's notes, social worker report, and evidence of the treatment I received. All of the pieces of a story I have spent so much energy trying to prove. That's the part I get stuck on, Paige. The proving, the endless evidence has become a performance in a courtroom I was never asked to enter, all with the threat of me having to go to court to back up my abuser. Somehow the person who has already survived the abuser is then expected to become an archivist, a lawyer, an investigator, and the most emotionally composed witness of their abuse and suffering. What a weird system we've created. And no wonder somewhere in all of this I became profoundly confused. I'd escaped baked beans, my abuser's reality, expecting to return to the real world, a sensible, kind one, where truth was obvious and cruelty was universally rejected. How wonderfully naive, girl. Instead, I discovered people who speak passionately about justice until justice asks something uncomfortable of them. People who believe victims, provided the victim is somebody else's daughter, friend, problem. People who say, I don't know anything about domestic abuse, but... It's an astonishing sentence, really. Because if you don't know anything, perhaps the next word should not be a but. It should be a tell me. I don't know anything about domestic abuse. Tell me. And then the other betrayal was my own bloody body. Now that one was particularly rude. You'd think after escaping the person or thing trying to destroy you, that your body would send a little software update. Congratulations, you have escaped. You may now return to normal functioning. Imagine. Now that would be useful. But no, my nervous system is appearing to be running on Windows 95 while I'm trying to convince everyone I'm not completely fucking mental. The strangest part is that my brain and body appear to be going through rather bitter divorce. My brain says, you're in your house, you are safe. Make a cup of tea, reply to an email, be a person. My body says, absolutely not. You are being chased by a predator who wants to kill you. Panic immediately. And the body is very convincing. The body remembers. The smallest task become negotiations, and a text message can feel, quite frankly, like a court appearance. And choosing what to eat, what to do, what next steps becomes a decision worthy of a UN summit. I don't even know what I'd say if someone asked me what I'd like to do today. I genuinely have no idea. Because when you've spent so long managing another person's emotional weather, your own preferences, quietly pack a suitcase and leave, and don't take me with them. There's no goodbye, no forwarding address. It's rude. Find myself rehearsing normal conversations. Just to sound okay. Sentences that most people produce without a second thought, that I used to produce without a second thought. I can spend 10 minutes preparing for it like I'm about to give a TED talk to a room full of people waiting for me to fail. And that's why I stopped talking. What's the point? You know, if I'm too cheerful, I'm pretending. Too quiet, then I look broken. Too honest, and everyone gets uncomfortable. Too vague, and I'm hiding something. It is exhausting. And then comes the guilt. The second I relaxed, some ancient alarm system starts screaming, you should be doing something, you should be fixing something, you should be better by now. I'm beginning to understand that these reactions are not proof that I'm weak. No, seriously. They're proof that my body became extremely good at keeping me alive. Victims of domestic abuse, do you know what? They're an adapted bunch. Hypervigilance is intelligence. Reading the slightest shift in someone's tone is a damn good survival skill. It's precision. Over-explaining was protection. The trouble is, survival adaptations make absolutely terrible housemates. Once the immediate danger has gone, they wake you up at 3 a.m, convinced the building is on fire. Because someone somewhere is having a midnight snack of toast. I'm trying to have compassion for that. Not because it's poetic, not because it's easy, but because fighting myself has become another full-time job. And frankly, I'd like to hand in my resignation. It's confusing, Paige. I came out of an abusive relationship. I came out of baked beans' world expecting to return to reality. I thought the worst thing I would have to process was him. No, it turns out I also have to process the world that allowed him. The language around abuse, the excuses, the endless needs for victims to present themselves perfectly, like level-headed victims before they're granted compassion. You know, the why didn't you leave? Why didn't you say something? Why did you stay? Interesting questions. Not because they seek understanding, but because they reveal where society's attention naturally falls. Terrifying. Let's not talk about abuse because no one likes it. Let's make it like a fire. The person escaping the burning building is asked to explain why they didn't notice the fire sooner. Whether the fire was started somewhere else. You know, we don't ask why the fire was allowed to burn for so long. Funny that. Why is the burden of explanation, the burden of proof, landing with the person who was harmed, not with the person causing the harm? Another curious little feature of humanity. Wow. I had this romantic idea that people were mostly good and that kindness was the default setting. My half-cup full philosophy worked because I assumed that there was still a cup. No, turns out I was standing there holding water in my hands, desperately trying not to lose it. Brilliant. That's another thing to unpack. Add it to the fucking list. But grief is a funny way of making you miss what was also there, because the world is not only made up of people who turned away, continue to turn away. No. It's made up of those women in my village who ran towards me. It's made up of a man like Senor M, a stranger to me, who's become someone that appears to give a shit. The hotel manager who intervened, the doctor who listened, the strangers who believed me before they'd had my entire story. So perhaps that is a lesson, not that humanity is hopeless. Perhaps the lesson is that we must become much more intentional a bit about which parts of humanity we feed, we honour, we applaud, we respect. And I just started thinking after watching some bloody Gary V video. He's got like a real punchy in your face kind of motivational style, but I thought, fuck it. Why don't I ask? Why don't I ask people, strangers with networks, resources, technology and influence, to help build something that could genuinely save lives? Because maybe the answer is not those around me. Fuck them. Maybe the answer is not even another bloody awareness campaign. Maybe it's infrastructure. Maybe it's a secure digital wallet, identity documents, money, a route to safety, like an exit plan, a way for survivors to access support without having to go to those that are going to judge them, that is going to hurt them. They don't have to rebuild their entire existence from scratch while simultaneously trying not to be murdered by their abuser. I mean, that'd be all right, wouldn't it? Takes on average 7 attempts to leave. 7 times that someone has to find the courage to walk away. 7 times they've got to survive the aftermath. That is a statistic that should haunt us all. And maybe that's what I do now. We already agreed, Paige. I stopped standing in the courtroom of public opinion, presenting exhibit after exhibit, desperately hoping someone will finally say, "Oh, right, we get it now. Yeah, this is wrong. What are we going to do about it?" Let them think whatever they want. The truth does not require me to stand guard outside its front door every minute of every day. It requires me to act. So this letter stays in the drawer, not as a countdown towards an ending, but as a record of a beginning I genuinely did not believe was possible. A seed, a community. A hand, my hand, reaching back for the person standing exactly where I stand. Perhaps the most radical thing a person can do after being made to feel powerless is refuse to spend the rest of their life trying to retrieve what was taken. Perhaps you build something that means someone else never has to feel quite so powerless in the first place. And honestly, Paige, that would be a much better ending, wouldn't it? Also deeply irritating. To everyone around me, I guess. But now I've got some good bloody work to do.
Ancient traditions mingled with new aspirations.